Hi, I'm Eileen Roche, editor of Designs and Machine Embroidery magazine, and I'm an embroidery expert. I'm here today to show you how you can do more than just pretty embroidery with your machine. You're probably used to making t-shirts or jackets or decorating tote bags, that type of things. But did you know you can actually make jewelry with your embroidery machine? We have several different examples here to show you of beautiful watch bands that have all been made on an embroidery machine. It's an in-the-hoop project that's very easy to do. You're going to start with heavy-duty water-soluble stabilizer. Suede, leather, or faux leather, like vinyl, is fine. You'll need a lining fabric. This is just cotton that has been fused with fusible web on the wrong side so that it doesn't fray during use. You'll need some snaps and rivets, and also a watch. You can use an old watch, or you can buy a new one and just remove the band to replace with your embroidered sample. So let's move over to the machine and bring up that design. We'll go into embroidery, and I have my design stored on the USB stick in watch. And since I'm using a hoop that's just a tad smaller than the design itself, I'm going to resize that design down underneath 200 millimeters. And then we'll touch embroidery. And we're going to stitch color 1 of our design. Now, if you've ever experienced the thread not catching on stabilizer, that's because there just isn't enough material, fabric, for the needle to catch the bobbin thread. So hold that thread during the first stitch when you're doing a placement guide. Those stitches are kind of long, and they often, slip out of the bobbin thread itself. So in this case, it worked out just perfectly. So now I have my first color stitched, and I'll get my fabric that's already been prepared, and I'll position that vinyl over that placement guide. And I'm going to stitch the second color, which is the vine of that pretty decorative leaf and vine design. Now this is going to take a little while to stitch. It's fun to watch a machine stitch, or you can move on to another project. When selecting a thread for watch bands, I kind of really like a highly contrasting thread so that people can see all the work that went into your watch band. A polyester thread is nice and strong. That would be the right selection for faux vinyl or faux leather fabric. And a needle that's 80-12 is probably the right size, an embroidery needle, because it has a rounded tip, which would be perfect for piercing through vinyl. Okay, so we're going to let that stitch a little bit, and then I'm going to advance and skip through because I've already prepared this hoop with all of the pretty stitching. It has the leaves that are done, it already has the vine, and so it's ready now to receive the back of the watch, and also the pieces, the little stitches that will tell me where to put my snaps and my rivets. So as that's stitching, we'll come over to the table, and I'm going to flip my hoop upside down. Now when you do this, it's best to position it so that the attachment extends off the table. This way you're going to get as flat as you can on the surface. And take your prepared fabric, right side out, and use some painter's tape to hold it in position. Now, the reason why I'm comfortable using painter's tape is my actual finished design is going to be inside this rectangle, and even if I do stitch on part of this rectangle, it's not the end of the world because I'll be able to pull that right off. So I'm just going to move this design to make sure I am aligned exactly where I need to be. I use the move key to do that. And I'm just lining that up, and I think we're in good shape. So I will now advance over to the color after the leaves, and this will tack down the fabric to the watch band. And it's going to stitch all the way around the watch band in a bean stitch. This stitch will be visible after the watch is complete. So use a color that you enjoy. It can match, like in this instance, I'm keeping the brown in there. It's going to match the vine. It could be another color so that it's a decorative element of the watch. Or I could select white and it would just kind of blend in with the fabric that I chose, but that's your choice. So we'll let this stitch a while, and then we can move over to the table and I can show you how to finish the watch, because I have one completed. And we'll just kind of do like a little bit of anatomy of a watch band here while we pull it out of the hoop. You'll see that we have 3 circles. So one is for one part of the hoop, and these 2 can receive 2 other elements of the snap, giving you an adjustable hoop, an adjustable watch band. Now, once you make one, you'll know the right length for your wrist, so you don't have to have 2 snaps in every one. These elements here, these little X's, tell you where you're going to place the rivet. And the rivet is what holds the watch face to the band. So you can see here on this piece, I already have the rivet in place, and I've pierced it through both layers of my tab and all the way through the watch band itself. So I can use a hole cutter tool. This is a handy little tool that I like to position the center of that kind of eyelet cutter right in the center of my band, and I just grip it, and now I have it all the way through a hole through all those layers. And of course the top of the band is the pretty part, so that's where we'll put the stud in that fashion. And then over on our little tool, we'll position the dome of the stud into the device on the tool, and then the back is already in my piece. And it's best to use a hammer. So you'd put this on a hard surface and you would give it one good whack. And I'm not going to do that on camera, so it's probably not going to hold. But that's how you apply these snaps. And just a hammer, and boy, it's set absolutely perfect. The snap, of course, is a little bit different. You're going to have a socket and a backing and an area, so you'll have those 2 pieces. And then when it's time to snap, it goes together just like that. And of course, that one's not done, but here we have one that is complete, our matching one in black thread. So it's so easy to do, and boy, these are great Christmas gifts or holiday, birthday. You can personalize them. You could even add a little letter, a monogram if you wanted, in this like plain white one, and here you most certainly could add a name. So I hope that you look at your embroidery machine in a whole new way and try to use it for more than just t-shirts and towels, because there's a whole jewelry box to fill.